I'm looking at it already and going, it's white and it's not big enough.
No, it's my section. I like it white.
Ever wonder what happens when the biggest house on the block still isn't big enough for one very entitled wife? We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. She claims she's talking about KODY's CP house mock-up here, but looking back, this scene is fascinating. The big house? Massive. She had the largest part of it, by a lot. And what does she say about it? It's white and not big enough. Yeah, sure. That's when her mask really slips. Funny how KODY designed a house that's basically the opposite of how Robin decorated hers. Even the other wives had rooms for each kid. Wouldn't it have made more sense to give each wife a couple of extra rooms, plus a whole floor of spare rooms for kids? Whether they're coming home after some trouble or just visiting for the holidays. But now, who cares? KODY's not getting any holiday visitors. It would make perfect sense to put the wives' suites downstairs and bedrooms for kids upstairs, instead of dividing the upstairs by wife as well. Since all the kids are supposed to belong to all the parents, right? Having 4 staircases is absurd, such a huge waste of space. 2 staircases would be enough. Maybe even just 1 if the upstairs is all communal space for kids. Though with a house that size, 2 staircases could be a nice luxury. And a big bonus room upstairs for the kids to hang out together, ideal. It's a better setup for a modern blended family with grown kids and grandchildren. She probably meant not big enough for 3 extra wives and their kids. Plenty big for the only brown family she really cares about. Considering where she came from, what little she had, and the massive debt she brought into the family, yeah, she's definitely wearing a big mask. Is this the house with an elevator? Because if you need a giant house with an elevator, you're either too lazy to walk or handicapped. Meanwhile, these huge mansions are all going into the ocean eventually. People waste so much money on these big homes while animals lose their habitats. Also, watching KODY rush to the hospital for his baby's birth, he looked like he really didn't want to go. Classic. Honestly, the house's white color looked better than the ugly brown it ended up with. She's so spoiled and selfish, complaining about white on a house that wasn't even built yet. Paint is changeable, but she's too entitled to think that far ahead. She had 1 kid in college and 2 teens, so space should have been about the kids' future needs, not her own short-term wants. And as Frank Lloyd Wright said, the rust earth tones of Flagstaff call for homes not painted glaringly white. But hey, Robin knows best, right? All in all, the complaints were petty, the entitlement obvious, and the whole thing just highlighted how out of touch she really is. What if I told you one mom is poisoning her own daughters against their siblings, and no one's talking about it? Is Robin poisoning her daughters' minds? In the last season or 2, Aurora and Brianna have seemed absolutely morose over being excluded, allegedly, from the other branches of the family. They often appear overly dramatic and deeply upset, almost comically so. It seems likely that Robin has been telling them that the other moms and siblings don't care about them, instilling a victim mindset. It's puzzling why Robin doesn't emphasize how blessed they are to have a present and loving father, unlike the other siblings who seem less involved. KODY was deeply upset about not seeing Aurora for 10 days during his coronavirus isolation, yet he regularly goes months without contacting his other children. Early on, Aurora and Brianna were more likable, but their intense self-pity now seems odd. There's a strong chance Robin deserves credit for shaping this attitude. She seems to be teaching them to adopt her perspective. The way Robin and KODY speak about the rest of the family publicly suggests that the children hear even harsher things in private. For example, during a poorly planned family get-together when Christine was moving after splitting from KODY, Robin's older girls looked hostile rather than sad or reflective. Arms crossed, cold stares, no hugs or well wishes. It seems they've been influenced by Robin's negativity. It's been reported that Robin's daughter, who attended school with Savannah, did not speak to her. This suggests Robin talks negatively about the other family members, with her daughters mirroring her attitudes. The youngest daughter even encouraged going on dates, because that's what her mother did, reinforcing the image of the girls being shaped by Robin's worldview. Robin's behavior appears to be a form of emotional manipulation, placing adult issues on children and fostering learned helplessness. This kind of parenting can create enmeshment, where boundaries blur and children lose autonomy, becoming dependent on the parent's control. Fear is used as a tool to keep the children close and compliant. KODY's role shouldn't be ignored. While Robin may be the primary influence, KODY also plays a part in the family dynamics. Their children likely witness and internalize the parents' conflicts and attitudes. Hopefully, some of the children will eventually break free from this cycle. The children appear to be heavily sheltered, with limited social lives and minimal interaction outside the immediate family. This is concerning, as they are missing opportunities to build independence and healthy relationships. Aurora has a part-time job and possibly a boyfriend, which is a positive sign, but overall, the girls seem isolated. Family gatherings often seem tense and scripted, with children coached on how to behave. This kind of environment fosters emotional repression rather than genuine connection. The ongoing narrative of rejection by other family members, particularly around holidays like Thanksgiving, seems to be exaggerated or fabricated. The true reasons often involve practical issues, such as coronavirus precautions, yet the children are told it's because the others don't want to be around them, deepening the victim mentality. Robin's actions contribute to dividing the family rather than healing it. She has not made meaningful efforts to build bridges with the other wives or their children, instead fostering division and resentment. This dynamic is unhealthy for all involved, especially the children. The hope is that eventually, the children will develop their own perspectives and choose their own paths, independent of the toxic family narrative they've been raised in. It's sad to see young people caught in such emotional turmoil, but with time and distance, there is potential for healing and growth. Ever wonder what it's really like being the newest wife in a family with 3 other women and nearly 20 kids? Here's the shocking truth about Robin's rise to power. Robin, an observation. Based on watching all the episodes and how things have ultimately turned out, this is my opinion on Robin. I believe Robin wanted nothing more than to be the alpha female to take a man from 3 different women and almost 20 children. A power trip and a massive boost for the ego. I think she is does get off on it. The excessive crying is to perpetuate I'm a victim, I'm the good one, and to save face. It also plays into KODY's wanting to be a white knight. I could be completely wrong, but this is just my opinion on the situation. Probably pretty obvious though. Lol. I sort of think she thought she would waltz in and be an instant hit with the kids, saving them from their overburdened mothers. Relying on information she gathered from KODY and Mykelti, she knew where to find the weakness, the problems, and the things to avoid. She knew she could manipulate the hell out of KODY. She wasn't in the dark early on like she now claims. And she knew KODY would place her needs ahead of the rest of the family. I don't think she wanted to take KODY away as much as she wanted to align with the power and financial control he had in the family. This way, she could ensure all of her needs and desires would be a priority. The others were merely secondary characters, but KODY was the one who ultimately chose to marginalize the rest of his family. I agree with everything except the part about her wanting to be a hit with the kids. She had an obvious disdain for a lot of them from right after they married. She's just so manipulative, she makes me want to throat chop her. I think both can be true. She requires kids to be fawning and obedient, or she turns on them. Plenty of bad parents exist like that. The kids learn to placate the parent because they are abandoned otherwise. But the Brown kids had no reason to placate her, so she turned on them immediately. She also thought she'd be famous, a fan-favorite TLC reality megastar. She thought the boys would have a crush on her, the girls would want to be her. She also thought they'd all be at her beck and call. They were all unimpressed except for Mykelti, and she turned on them because of that. She is a horribly manipulative person who studies the other's weaknesses and strengths to use against them. She aligned herself with Meri because she saw that Meri was the head wife and owner of the only legal marriage. Janelle was the family accountant, so she manipulated KODY into redirecting the family funds to her business and then demanded to be the COO, and therefore in control of family money. Christina's Slash was the heart of the family, nurturer to all. Initially, Robin tried to win over the kids. She flirted early on with Logan, tried to be a cool friend to Maddie, paid attention to an attention-hungry Mykelti, but being a self-sacrificing nurturer is too foreign to her core personality. She failed in the endeavor, so she poisoned KODY's mind against Christine and her children as punishment for her failing. She doesn't like to lose. The other wives had the class to not really say anything bad about her, but they knew. I think Robin liked keeping KODY preoccupied and therefore away from the other wives. She got off on being the favorite. I'm not convinced that she wanted to be the only wife, just the one who called the shots and got to be in control. I think she was shocked that Christine left. I think she really didn't want to be the side piece like her mom was. She systematically took everything away from each wife. Meri, the legal wife. She manipulated her way to get that from Meri, using the kids that Meri loved. Then, she took them away from her. Christine loved being the mom to all. Robin wouldn't let her and hired a nanny, paid someone else. Janelle was in charge of finances until they got to Flagstaff. All that ended there. I do not think she thought the wives would leave. She thought they were all so weak and would settle for nothing from KODY. I also think she thought the risk of losing the show, money, would keep the other wives playing along. She's angry that they left because how dare they take away what feeds her ego and her bank account. I think you're right about Robin's victimhood. I think that's how she got KODY. She portrayed herself as a victim of her abusive first husband, and she was rescued. And she continued in that vein by telling KODY that her sister wives were mean and excluding her. And so KODY had to protect her from his other wives. When realistically, the only thing that was being abused was the finances between Sobs and Preston. I think Robin played damsel in distress to elicit special treatment from KODY. As soon as she enters the family, she begins taking over a majority of group interview talking points. She gradually builds momentum as the voice of the family narrative and the resident polygamy expert. She also portrays herself as a model sister wife. Like when Meri told Sobin the divorce was final before KODY. It cuts to her talking head segment, saying how that wasn't proper, or the countless times she explains how she can't speak out against a sister wife while they are talking/arguing with KODY. It seems like she saves that up to tell him when it's just the two of them. After her look-back interview of the wedding dress debacle, she still insists she and KODY did nothing wrong, showing a woman that wanted things her way. She ignored any sort of polygamy propriety. In the look-back, Robin vowed everything she set out for, except a decent reputation. She has earned where she is. Then she recently said he did not pick out the dress. She can't even remember her own lies. Just like she can't remember that she took the personality test and tried to say Christine must have taken it, even though Robin was on camera taking the test with the rest of them. KODY probably said, "I like that one," and then she decided that was the one, so really he didn't pick it. She twists things. Now KODY is trying to spin the narrative that Robin is shy. Her constantly taking the floor and making speeches like she is the great expert of all is very frustrating, especially when she's with the family. You're sitting in a room with two people who were raised in polygamy, one of which is AUB royalty. I would value Christine or Meri's input far above hers. The biggest ego with the biggest fake tears. Robin is a covert narcissist and sociopath. I do think Robin is a manipulator who would never have agreed to marry KODY if she didn't see an opening from jump. I also think that everything worked out beyond her wildest dreams, and she has absolutely no idea what her next move should be. I don't think she ever intended having KODY all to herself. She got as far as she did because he allowed it, and I think the other wives finally realized that and opted out. I see the first cracks in those relationships when the oldest kids started to go to public school. I also think Robin's angle was one of vulnerability and victim. Being vulnerable provided an opportunity for KODY to rescue her, be the man and protector/provider. It's fascinating how much the three women bent over backwards when she was first on the scene. Meri had to divorce KODY and was sickened by Robin's attention, seeking tears during the lawyers' meeting where Meri was signing the divorce papers. Meri was clearly devastated, but it was Robin who stole the show with her distressed tears. Similarly, the poor financial situation that Robin was in meant belt-tightening for the remaining wives and Janelle working hard to balance the books. Robin has to be one of the craftiest, manipulative people ever to grace reality TV screens. She knows exactly what she's doing. Meri was by far the easiest victim for Robin to manipulate. She is beyond naive. Meri was basically ostracized by Janelle and Christine, so she let Robin do whatever, just to have one friend in the scenario. It was a huge mistake for Janelle and Christine to ostracize Meri and not form a voting bloc with her. When Meri decides to join with them in an argument, they can win. When she's not interested in helping, they're 2-2 against KODY and Robin, so they lose every time. But the problem is that Meri was always on KODY's team, and KODY was always on Robin's team. Meri just could not be trusted. She flipped on Christine more than once. It's great that Meri is starting to come out of her Stockholm syndrome, but there's so much water under the bridge. I don't think Janelle and Christine could ever trust her again. They saw the changing dynamic miles before Meri did. Meri was always simping for KODY no matter what. Toward the end, it seemed to morph into forcing him to be the one to leave, so it wasn't her who left, presumably due to vows. Men are disrespected or shunned in that system if they set a wife aside, so Meri was trying to publicly pin that on him. The whole thing got really gross. She wanted not only Robin but everyone else to see that stop pretending KODY's mall obsession is normal. It's not just shopping. There's something way more suspicious going on. Caught KODY at Scheels in Chandler Mall. Blue polo jeans, brown dress shoes, hair dramatically flapping in the breeze while he chatted through earbuds. He was flying solo, no family around, unless they were hiding inside. We got there a bit late and missed the chance for a pic. Honestly, what is with this family and their mall obsession? KODY almost looked normal, almost. I'm convinced they've moved to Chandler. The mansion hasn't sold yet, sure, but how else do you explain KODY getting caught there so often? The Flagstaff to Phoenix Drive isn't a quick trip, and shopping doesn't make sense as the only reason. Maybe he owns a business at the mall, or, more likely, he's scouting for a potential new sister wife to keep the show afloat. When ratings dip, KODY always has 3 go-to moves: bring in a new wife, throw a wedding, or move somewhere new. Forget the gossip magazines. They are just recycling public info and fan theories. Meanwhile, KODY apparently has a real job at gun shows in Phoenix. Still, why does he spend so much time at the mall? Maybe he likes the attention he gets when recognized. The Hoarder Mansion recently got some work done. Heated driveway repairs suggest a sale might be coming. Or maybe KODY's just enabling Robin's shopping addiction with employee discounts at Claire's and Hallmark. Chandler's Mall is definitely a step up from Flagstaff's, so if they're driving that far regularly, something's up. And about KODY's red pill phase, peak irony for a guy who took advantage of 3 wives for decades to suddenly blame modern women. I'd love to see karma finally catch up to Robin. Bottom line, KODY is officially America's oldest mall rat. flipping his hair and soaking up the spotlight, while possibly hunting for wife number 4. Meanwhile, the rest of us avoid malls like the plague. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.